Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our final segment today is with another political candidate who currently holds the title of County Supervisor for the 10th District. I'm happy to have Supreme Moore Omokunde join us this morning. How are you, Supreme?
Good morning, Andrea.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, you've been on the show before. Absolutely. Really, I tell you. You were elected to the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors back in 2015. And here we are 3 years later. You're ready to take it to the next level. Tell me what attracted you to run for state assembly.
Well, my county district actually overlaps the 16th Assembly District. I represent 13 of the 31 wards, and I live in the 16th Assembly District. And if you look at the district, it's the epicenter of the state of Wisconsin. You have some of the most wealthy people and some of the poorest people that live in the same assembly district. And I saw a lot of the things that I was really passionate and working on, that they no longer had a county answer, they had a state answer. And so I wanted to make sure that if I couldn't have a partner at the state, I had to be my own partner at the state.
All right, I like that answer. So when you look back on your political career at this point, what are some of the accomplishments that you are most proud of?
There are several. I think generally speaking, I am proud of the fact that I stood up at certain times when it was perhaps not popular to stand up, or people thought it was just too distracting to stand up. The last time I was here, we talked about some of the controversies that I had been involved with.
Which I'll just say it was then Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark.
Yes. Standing up with those. And also, if we look at what's happening with Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake now, and the fact that we're having a conversation about closing it and having smaller, closer to home models, myself and my colleagues were a part of that, beginning that in the December of 2015. I chair the Health and Human Needs Committee, and we deal with a lot of that comes before my committee. We deal with a lot of that conversation. I'm also a member of the Finance Committee, so we deal with the fiscal structuring of those kinds of things. And so I'm proud of those particularly two things, and there's a number of others as well.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, your mom is Wisconsin Congresswoman Gwen Moore. So just wanted to know if your mom had any words of wisdom or advice to you as you take on this new journey to further your political career.
Always, and she always has lots of advice to give. I think her biggest piece of advice was to remember why you got into this race, why you got into this work. It's a noble profession, and it's an honor to serve people, to work on behalf of people, and to whatever you're doing, never lose track of that. And also her other advice is to make sure that I take her garbage out and wash her dishes when I stop by her house.
That's funny. So when we look at the issues, there are some things that, particularly in the state of Wisconsin, we talk about African American men having the highest numbers, the rates being behind bars in the country. So you would be interested in ending mass incarceration. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm tired of us having that black eye for the state of Wisconsin, especially 53206, which is in the 16th Assembly District. We lock up more black and brown people than anywhere else on the planet. If you look at the United States as being the #1 incarcerator on the planet, and Wisconsin per capita being the #1 incarcerator in the country, that makes us #1 on the planet. And we just need to lose that stigma. There's some low-hanging fruit that we can go after. One of those things is ending crimeless revocation. Sometimes you'll have individuals who are 5 minutes late to see their parole officer, and if their parole officer is having a bad day that day, they'll say, well, you were 5 minutes late, I'm sending you back. Or we need to close MSDF.
That happens?
At times. I've heard stories of it happening. We need to close the Milwaukee Secure Detention Facility. Gradually, we need to do it practically to make sure we don't lose people in the system. However, I know that someone died there last summer, and I was always curious because it's in my county district and it never had a county purview, but I was just as concerned about someone dying there as I was someone dying in our jails. And so there's a number of things we can do with mass incarceration, and we can find some money, pull people out of prison who don't belong there for nonviolent crimes, and expunge records and give people access to different kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, so development without displacement. Explain that.
Well, first and foremost, they're putting $500 million into downtown Milwaukee with the Bucks Arena streetcar, ancillary development, et cetera, which is great. However, I'm mostly concerned about those who live in the surrounding neighborhoods, and with property tax increases, cost of living increases, and if people are going to be allowed or can afford to stay where they want to stay. I don't even want to talk about the numbers I've heard of people's property assessments going up and how high it's been. It's a whole other house that they have been assessed. And we want to make sure that people who have invested in neighborhoods, who chose to build a home or purchase a home in a neighborhood, is actually able to stay there and can afford to stay there. And we want to make sure people aren't pushed out. And we also want to make sure that we are developing not only just downtown, but also in the inner cities as well.
And you're actually sitting on a platform of legalizing and decriminalizing marijuana. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And I do get some pushback on this from time to time. However, if you ask me, I think in the next 5 or 6 years, it's going to be legalized.
We're seeing much
of the place, largely because people see the revenue stream from it. I think we need to get in front of that train and make sure that we are saying we're going to tax it, but we're going to use the money for our education system, our K through 12 schools, our public universities, as well as our trade and technical schools, because MATC has a great promise program that they're working on, but they're running out of money. And so they need another revenue source to help them to make sure that they keep their promise, if you will. And a lot of those trade and technical jobs are the jobs that folks are going to go after, and people are going to be able to use those kinds of skills in the workforce. And if we're going to legalize it, we got to decriminalize it, because I don't even like having the conversation about legalization without decriminalization. We have to pull people out of prison who don't belong there. And once they get out, and there are people out here who that second bag of weed makes you a felon, and we need to expunge their records and give them access to jobs, access to education, and access to housing. There's so many things that you can't do with a drug felony. And for your drug felony to be over a bag of weed, it's nonsensical.
So is there anything else that you want our viewing audience to know about you as you go for this position in the State Assembly?
Absolutely. The things that I care about, the things that I'm running on, are things that I've been working on for the past 3 years as a Milwaukee County Supervisor. Like I said, I do represent 13 of the 31 wards, and I think I'm best situated to continue the fight that I've been fighting for the past 3 years.
All right. Well, best of luck to you, and I thank you for coming by and really letting us know where you stand on the issues.
Thank you.
All right. Supreme Moore Omokunde, he's a candidate for the Wisconsin State Assembly, 16th District, and you can follow him on Facebook under Supreme Moore Omokunde and on Instagram at Team Supreme 18. Don't forget the primary elections are on Tuesday, August 14th. For more details, visit city.milwaukee.gov or call 414-286-CITY. That's 286-2489. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, I thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.